The Middle East, a land regarded as the cradle of human civilization, where the world's greatest religions were born. But here too, religious fractures have left a legacy of disputes lasting thousands of years. In Islam, two major branches exist side by side, Sunni and Shia. They believe in the same God, read the same Quran, face the same Mecca, yet history has made them two opposing worlds. This division is not only theological, but has also been imprinted in politics, power, and even conflicts still burning today. The question that puzzles many is, why did a religion founded on the call for unity split into two paths? Where did the fracture begin? Let us turn back 400 years in history, to the moment right after Nabi Muhammad departed from this world, a moment that shaped the destiny of Islam. Before going further, if you find this topic interesting, don't forget to press like, leave a comment, and subscribe so you won't miss the next historical stories. And Nabi Muhammad, the central figure of Islam, was not only a prophet, but also the spiritual and political leader of the whole community. Under his hand, the scattered tribes of Arabia were united into one body. With tens of thousands following him, Muhammad was both the conveyor of revelation and the leader making decisions for the entire community. Therefore, the question of who would succeed him was always present in the believers' hearts. 3 months before his death, Muhammad organized the final Hajj, an unprecedented pilgrimage that gathered believers from everywhere. This was not only a ritual, but also a milestone for his final instructions. On the return journey to Medina, the caravan stopped at Ghadir Khumm, a crucial crossroads. If they had not paused there, many groups would have gone their separate ways and missed his message. In the midday heat, Muhammad had a platform built and called the whole caravan to gather. Silence fell as he stood up, looking over tens of thousands of Sahaba listening intently. He said, "I leave with you two precious things. If you hold on to them, you will never go astray. The Quran and my al-Bayt, my family." Then he took the hand of Ali ibn Abi Talib, his cousin and son-in-law, raised it before everyone and declared, "Whoever regards me as Mawla leader, protector Ali is also their Mawla." The crowd cheered and many Sahaba came to congratulate Ali, including Umar, one of the most influential figures. The Ghadir Khumm event thus became a historic point of contention. For Shia, it is proof that Muhammad designated Ali as successor. For Sunni, it was only a statement of honor and kinship. Regardless of interpretation, this event planted the seeds for later disputes. The dispute over who would succeed Nabi Muhammad, and marked the beginning of the great fracture in Islamic history. After the Ghadir Khumm event, many believed succession had been made clear. But when Nabi Muhammad fell gravely ill, underlying disagreements resurfaced. The small house where he lay sick quickly became the center of attention. Sahaba took turns attending him, worried for his health and wondering what would happen with leadership after him. In his illness, Muhammad requested, "Bring me paper and pen so I may write something for you, then you will never go astray." Those words seemed simple, but they immediately sparked debate. Umar stood up and objected. "We already have the Quran. That is enough. Nothing more needs to be written." Some supported the Prophet, writing a will to clarify his intention, while others sided with Umar. The dispute grew heated right before his sickbed. Muhammad, being very weak, saw the argument worsening and told them to leave. He wrote no will. For the Shia community, this incident is of great significance. They believe the objection prevented the Prophet from explicitly appointing Ali as successor in writing. Meanwhile, the Sunni community explains that the Quran was sufficient as guidance, and the matter of succession was left to consultation among the companions. Abdullah ibn Abbas, a close companion, later recalled that he wept for this event all his life, believing that the chance for unity was lost. Just 4 days later, Nabi Muhammad passed away. His departure shocked the community, and immediately the burning question arose: who would lead the Ummah after him? On the day Nabi Muhammad died, Medina was plunged into grief and chaos. Many could not believe he was gone, for to them, Muhammad was the center of faith and life. While the Prophet's family and close ones handled the burial, an urgent meeting took place at Saqifah, the traditional hall of the Ansar tribe. There, the Ansar discussed selecting a new leader. They wanted Sa'd bin Ubadah, their chief, to become Khalifa. When this news spread, Abu Bakr and Umar, two of the most influential figures, immediately went to Saqifah to join the debate. The argument grew tense. The Ansar insisted they sheltered Muhammad, while the Quraysh group insisted leadership must remain in the Prophet's tribe to preserve unity. After much dispute, Umar stood up to support Abu Bakr. He pledged allegiance, and gradually others followed. Thus, Abu Bakr was recognized as the first Khalifa. However, not everyone agreed with this decision. Ali ibn Abi Talib, along with those loyal to the Prophet's family, such as Zubair, Salman al-Farsi, Miqdad, and Abbas, were hesitant and did not immediately pledge allegiance. Meanwhile, Fatima, the Prophet's daughter and wife of Ali, requested Abu Bakr to return the land of Fadak, property the Prophet had given her. But her request was denied, leading to a bitter dispute. Fatima, angered, distanced herself from Abu Bakr and died soon afterward, still bearing grievance. According to Shia tradition, she was even buried secretly at night. Eventually, under social pressure and for the sake of unity, Ali pledged bay'ah allegiance to Abu Bakr. But this left a fracture that could never be healed in the heart of the Muslim community. After the Saqifah incident subsided, Abu Bakr officially became the first Khalifa of the Muslim community. His immediate duty was to stabilize the Ummah after the Prophet's passing. Some tribes far from Medina began showing signs of breaking their pledge. Abu Bakr dispatched armies to reaffirm loyalty and also launched campaigns against rebellious movements. Though short, Abu Bakr's reign laid the foundations for the young Islamic State. After his death, Umar ibn al-Khattab was chosen as his successor. Under Umar, the community entered a period of prosperity. He established a clear administrative system, recorded registers for stipends, organized courts, and appointed governors over new territories. This was also when Islam expanded rapidly, from Persia to Syria and Egypt. This growth made many call it the golden age of the community. Before dying from an assassination, Umar did not name a direct successor, but set up a council of 6 prominent Sahaba to deliberate and select the next Khalifa. After much consideration, the council chose Uthman ibn Affan. The early years of his rule were peaceful, but later his appointments of relatives to high positions caused dissatisfaction. Provinces such as Kufa, Basra, and Egypt began sending complaints. Many notable Sahaba, including Abu Dhar al-Ghifari and Ammar ibn Yasir, openly voiced opposition. Aisha also repeatedly criticized him. The external pressure mounted. Finally, groups from the provinces marched to Medina, besieged Uthman's home, and demanded policy changes. Amid the tension, Uthman refused to spill blood. Yet he was killed in his own house. His death shocked the community, for it was the first time a Khalifa was slain amidst internal strife. After this tragic event, Medina fell into turmoil. Under mounting pressure, many voices called upon Ali to take responsibility and become the next Khalifa. Following Uthman's death, the atmosphere in Medina was heavy and chaotic. People were anxious, while political factions argued bitterly over succession. In that moment, many Sahaba and citizens turned to Ali, the one most closely related to Nabi Muhammad and named at Ghadir Khumm, urging him to accept leadership. At first, Ali hesitated, fully aware of the burden, especially with the community deeply divided. But under the people's insistence, he accepted and became the 4th Khalifa. No sooner had Ali assumed leadership than a major challenge erupted. Aisha, together with Talha and Zubair, prominent Sahaba, opposed him, demanding that he first avenge Uthman's death. The dispute quickly escalated into armed conflict, known as the Battle of Jamal, the Battle of the Camel. Because Aisha directed forces from atop a camel, the revolt ended in defeat but left heavy casualties and deep scars in the community. Before stability could return, Ali faced another rival, Muawiya, governor of Syria and kinsman of Uthman. He refused to recognize Ali as Khalifa, demanded justice for Uthman's death, and declined bay'ah. The two sides clashed at Siffin, one of the most famous early Islamic conflicts. The prolonged battle claimed thousands of lives, yet neither side won decisively. From this stalemate, an extremist faction split from both camps called the Khawarij. They condemned both Ali and Muawiya as wrong and chose to stand apart. From this group came the man who assassinated Ali while he was praying in the masjid. His death marked the tragic end of a tumultuous era. After Ali, his eldest son, Imam Hassan, briefly became Khalifa, but soon withdrew from power after an agreement with Muawiya. Not long after, Hassan also died, many sources say by poisoning. A few years later came the tragedy of Karbala. Imam Hussein, Ali's younger son, along with his family and a small band of supporters, fell to the forces of Yazid, son of Muawiya. These cascading events turned the initial crack into a chasm. Supporters of Ali and his descendants formed the Shia. Those following the line of Khalifas from Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman became the Sunni. After Karbala, the Muslim community was no longer whole. The loss of Hussein became a collective memory, forging a distinct identity for those aligned with the Prophet's family. From there, they formed a separate group called Shia, meaning the followers of Ali. For them, Ali and his descendants, the Imams, are the rightful heirs spiritually and in leadership. Meanwhile, the majority followed the path of Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and later Muawiya. They were called Sunni, holding that the Khalifa's role rests on communal consensus, not bloodline. These two interpretations created a deep divide. Shia regard commemorations of Hussein, especially in Muharram, as sacred duty. Sunni do not recognize these rites, seeing them as later practices. Past events, from Abu Bakr's refusal to grant fadak to Fatimah, Umar preventing the Prophet from dictating a will, Aisha's opposition to Ali, to Hussein's death, became painful milestones remembered by Shia, while Sunni present different explanations. Later, 4 Sunni legal schools developed: Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, Hanbali. Shia continued to uphold their system of imams. A saying of the Prophet has been transmitted: "My community will split into many groups." After more than 14 centuries, it reads like a forecast, and the Shia-Sunni divide still leaves a deep impact. Yet this was not the end. From that initial dispute, a succession of political and religious upheavals followed, especially under subsequent dynasties, where the fracture was widened further. As Shia and Sunni began to separate into 2 distinct branches, the Muslim world entered a new era, the era of political dynasties. The Umayyad dynasty formed after Muawiya, becoming a vast empire stretching from Spain to India, the first time Islam functioned as a full empire. To Sunni, the Umayyads represented a lawful continuation of the Khalifa, a phase of expansion and civilization. To Shia, it was a usurpation of Ali's line, and they maintained an oppositional spirit. Numerous small Shia movements arose across regions from Iraq to Persia. They fought both militarily and by preserving the memory of Karbala as a spiritual flame against assimilation. Meanwhile, the Umayyad state poured energy into consolidating power, expanding territory, founding great cities, and shaping Islam as a global civilization. Yet beneath the grandeur, the Shia-Sunni split smoldered. Each political upheaval exposed the cracks anew, further polarizing the community. From here, their opposition was no longer merely theological. It had become political and a matter of collective identity, laying the groundwork for conflicts that lasted centuries. And in that context, a new element emerged. Commemorating Karbala gradually became the central ritual of Shia, sustaining their distinct identity for over 400 years. This is the focus of the next part. After power passed to dynasties like the Umayyads, the Shia, though a minority, did not vanish. Rather, they grew more cohesive through a shared memory, the tragedy at Karbala. For Shia, Karbala is not merely a historical event, but an eternal symbol of justice against tyranny. Imam Hussein became the model of sacrifice for faith. Each year in Muharram, especially on Ashura, Shia communities commemorate the event with solemn rites, retelling Hussein's story, mourning and renewing vows to the ideal of justice. These commemorations bonded Shia communities, even as they lived scattered and often under pressure from ruling powers. Karbala became a thread connecting them across time and space. The Sunni view differs. They do not observe Ashura as a day of mourning, but as an optional fast rooted in earlier tradition. This difference in remembrance made Karbala a clear boundary of identity. For Shia, a spiritual source. For Sunni, something kept at a distance, not a mandatory rite. Thus, Shia increasingly took shape as a community within the community, with its own identity, ideals, and indissoluble collective memory. From there, Shia influence spread beyond theology and memory into politics, especially as new powers like Persia, later Iran, became deeply aligned with this tradition. More than 14 centuries have passed, yet the Shia-Sunni fracture still marks the Islamic world. From an initial succession dispute, it grew into enduring differences in theology, ritual, and politics. In modern times, the map of the Middle East reflects the divide. Iran is a Shia center, while Saudi Arabia is the spiritual capital for Sunni. Regional conflicts, alliances, and even proxy wars are, to varying degrees, shaped by this historical fissure. Nonetheless, Shia and Sunni share much: belief in the Quran, recognition of Muhammad as Nabi, the prayers, fasting, and pilgrimage. Despite differences, their foundation is common. The big question remains: can this fracture be healed in the future, Or is it destined to remain intertwined with Islamic history and politics? This is where I'd like to hear from you. What do you think is the main reason Shia and Sunni have not reconciled over 14 centuries? If this story helped you understand the history better, leave a comment with your thoughts, hit like so the video reaches more people, and subscribe so you don't miss the next episodes in the series. History still holds many hidden corners to explore, and I'll continue that journey with you in future videos.